So you'll have to click that word "got it" on the little box there to clear that screen, and we'll begin. Again, we're sitting at the front edge of our chair, finding those two buttock bones planted, plugged in, cultivating that central upright pillar, that slight drawing down of the chin to counter this state that a lot of times the head and neck get into, especially as our posture is suffering. So our sitting practice is incredibly valuable. And again, make sure you're sitting in a setup just like my setup. So Joe, you'll want to go sit back in a chair with the two chairs on either side. I believe your wife set that up for you, so that you're operating from that position. You may want to move that chair that you're touching now out of the way so it doesn't block the screen. And again, we start the Monday Gait and Balance class and the Friday Tai Chi class. We start both of them the same way, this sitting practice. So sitting in a chair is something people do a lot, especially folks that are having balance issues in their life, or just as we age, we tend to spend more time in our chair, and that can be a very bad thing over time, especially if we're sitting way back in the chair and we're slouching, basically training ourselves to have poor posture, right? But the reason people sit back is and sit in bad posture is because it's easy. It requires zero effort, but and it's comfortable, but over time, it's actually not very comfortable at all. It crunches up our spinal column. It shuts off part of the diaphragm in terms of breathing correctly. It brings our energy levels way down and kind of creates this sluggishness. And so this simple practice that is, I've been assigning this as homework, from the beginning. I don't know how many people are doing their homework, but it's sit forward in your chair so that the only thing touching the chair is your two buttock bones. So do that now if you haven't done it yet. Scoot forward on your chair so that your back is not touching the back of your chair. And also that your legs are out beyond the chair. And so just this simple setup, and resting the hands on your legs, palms down, could be palms up, palms down. And then this just slight drawing down of the chin to open up where the skull and top of the spine meet. Because as I was saying before, if I just slouch my pelvis a little bit, I get this rounded back, kyphosis, I believe it's called. And then in order to keep my vision at the horizon, I lift my chin up. So this is how we see ourselves. This is what happens. This is an exaggerated version of the aging human body. And then we get ourselves on a walker, and then we're pushing along this way, and our head gets even worse, and we're cutting off the nerve flow to our eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and also all through here and the rest of the body. So the power, the impact of just this simple practice in your daily life of scooting forward, drawing chin slightly down, sensing that you have a middle pillar or a central pillar that if you align it correctly, you can actually relax your body around it. So now, once I've got this central pillar intact, now I practice that's called Zhongjung. That's the Taoist term for that, central upright. Then we practice the next skill, which is called Chunwan, which is softening and relaxing into stability. So it's like this idea that I always use that example of the Bobo the Clown blow up sort of clown doll that existed back in the day. You smack it and it falls over, but then it comes right back up on its own. And the reason it does that is because all the sand is down at the bottom. It's all this sort of capsule of weight down here at the bottom. So when we're tense in our body, we're holding our weight up here, which makes us more likely to feel like we're going to stumble and fall. So we get our vertical pillar aligned. Then we have to soften and relax. We have to release. When people with balance issues are standing up, it's kind of hard to relax, right? Because they're afraid. They're holding on to their body going, I got to be ready for a fall, or I got to reach out and grab something. So the sitting practice as a daily 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, calibration is homework that I highly, highly recommend, because a lot of stuff is hard to do, but this, you can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes and sit, create that central pillar, practice softening and relaxing. To assist us with the softening and relaxing, that's where the breathing comes in. So as you're sitting, relaxing, now breathe in through the nose, in through your nostrils. Feel that expanding, that opening, that filling, and then out the mouth like kind of a sigh. Like a relaxed exhale, as opposed to like a pushing exhale. We're melting that breath out of the body. And then do it again. Inhale through the nose. Nice and full, maybe even hold the breath full. Only to open the mouth and melt it out, soften it out, release it out. And each round you can, especially as you practice more, start to feel this sort of thawing. You're thawing out this tension in the nervous system and body. We're going to do that for, let's say, 15 more breath cycles. In the nose. Out the mouth. The breath gives our mind what they call in Taoist terminology the E, the attention, the power of our focus. The breath becomes this place we harness our attention. Instead of it jumping around and being distracted, being stressed out, we're just simply with the inhale, simply with the exhale, and the mind over time becomes comfortably focused, relaxed and focused. So it's released, it's soft, but it's also quite potent and precise. So let's take a few more of these breaths. In through the nose, long, smooth, and full. You hold the breath at the top. That's like a feasting on chi, feasting on breath and oxygen. And then when you exhale, you're letting out waste product and staleness and tension and anxiety. And at the bottom of the exhale, you can even just wait, not inhale right away. And then you inhale. You hold. It's called the 4-part breath. You exhale. And you hold empty. So you don't inhale right away, you wait, and then you inhale. You hold. You exhale. 5 more. Notice how the mind avoids this, wants to run away from this, wants to look for somewhere else to put the attention, a distraction, or there's something concerning that calls to you and you start stressing, right? That's common. It's been happening to us human beings for a long time. So we harness this state of mind present, central pillar intact, body relaxed and loose. Now our first movement, slide your hands back, elbows back behind you, and draw your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your chest and chin and look up and arch your back. So create a kind of a back bend. It's called spinal extension. And then the opposite of that, we slide our hands forward past the knees till the arms completely straighten. Hollow your chest back and drop your head, trying to look at your own belly button. And you're rounding the back. And then do the opposite. Slide your hands back, your elbows back, your shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, look up, spinal extension. And then slide hands forward past the knees, hollow your chest back, drop the head around. We'll do this 3 more times. Tie it in with the breath. Inhale as you slide hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up. This is inhale. And then exhale. As your hands slide forward, chest hollows back, drop your head. 2 more. Inhale. All the way back. Exhale. Round. 1 more. And then we settle back to this middle position that we started in, our meditation position. When you practice more and your awareness increases, you'll notice that when we return to this position after the exercise we just did, something is different. Something has changed. We've worked out some layers of stiffness. We've moved the parts in such a way that now your middle is even more precise, and it's also more spacious. There's a feeling of, oh, okay, because at first we kind of start gripped and held, but now we're loosening those spaces. Now we take left hand forward past the knee, right hand and elbow slide back, and we turn the shoulders, turn the head, look over the shoulder, get a rotation or twist. And then switch. Slide your left hand back, right hand forward, turn your shoulders, turn your head, twist. And then we switch again. Slide left hand forward, right hand back, turn. And then switch. Right hand forward, left hand back. Good. And again, left hand forward, right hand back. Good. Right forward, left hand back, turn the shoulders to the left. Smooth and loose and free movement in it's called the transverse plane, the rotational plane of movement. We got to have freedom of movement in all the planes. We're just going through them. Come back to neutral, right in the middle, and feel this quality here. Again, a slight difference, a slight more precision, slight more feeling of freedom of movement and space. Now hang your arms loosely alongside you. We shift our weight to the right buttock. So just shift your weight a little bit over there, and then let all the vertebrae of the spine side bend. Lift your left wrist like there's a little string tied to your left wrist, and it's floating it up, kind of like a puppet or a marionette, and reach your right hand like there's something just out of reach on the floor, like you're trying to touch it. And then we switch. So now we're shifting to the left buttock. The left arm is going down. The right wrist is floating up. So you kind of flirt with disaster. So the thing you want to feel here is you're almost kind of going to fall out of your chair, but you don't. So you go right up to that edge, lightly, safely, and then we switch over to the other side. So we change, we're leaning all the way over to this side. And then we're changing all the way over to this side. So you'll notice, for most people, you favor one side over the other. You feel more stable on one side, less stable on the other side. And so then you spend more time in one leg than the other. And that has impact to our whole sense of balance, our whole sense of being centered. And so here we're trying to break that a little bit, trying to get equally loose and free to the left and the right, which induces and cultivates the sense of your middle, what your actual middle is. Which, according to the Taoists, it's the belly button level, straight back through us towards the low back spine, the place right in the middle there. That's our middle pivot here. Now, from our sitting position, we do one more important, so one of the most complicated areas of the body is chest, arm, shoulder blade, neck. All of this whole chassis is where a lot of people hold tension, right? Especially if you're afraid you're going to fall, you hold, there's grip. So we got to clear that area out. You can see mine are very free to move. So there's this movement that we do here. So first gesture is shoulder blades spread apart, right? They spread apart, and that brings the shoulder blades around, the arms in front. Then we lift, then we go back, and then we slide them down the back and under. So this is called protraction of the shoulder blades. They spread apart from the spine. Then they elevate or lift up. Then they retract. So they're going back towards the spinal column, and then they slide down and under. And we do it again. So we'll do a few more in this direction. You can see that it creates a sort of circle. It creates a circle. Right? But the main important piece is that the moving part isn't just the arm at the shoulder socket, it's the scapula, the shoulder blade moving in this very interesting way. The shoulder blades are complex, they're interesting, and they can do a lot, but a lot of times people have their shoulder blades frozen and stuck, and so we're unsticking them. Now reverse. So we go shoulder blades back, up, then they spread apart as they come over top, and then down under. We go back, up, over top, down. Back and up, over top, down. A few more. Back, up, forward, down. Up, over top, down. One more. And down. So there's plenty of other exercises. We do many of them on the Friday class that keep cultivating this idea of freeing everything up. But we're just going to move on to the lower body. So now scoop back in your chair a little bit so you feel very stable. And then lift your right knee up and draw your right heel in towards the butt. So you see this loading like a spring, and then push, like you're pushing something away from you. Then reload it like a spring, and then set that foot down. Other leg, we lift the knee and draw the heel in, so it's this loading of the spring-loaded leg, then unloading, manifesting the power, and then reloading, and then set it down. We switch back and forth a few times. Load, push, load, down. Left leg, load, push away, reload it, down. We're looking for freedom of movement to go from all the way compressed to all the way extended, back to all the way compressed with no hindrance. Other side, compress, extend, compress, down. Now foot and ankle. We straighten the right leg, point your right foot, flex your right foot. Point it and flex it a few more times. Again, freedom of movement. So we're cultivating softness. We're not trying to tense up and really work. Each movement we're trying to loosen, we're trying to open, we're trying to liberate the freedom of movement. Now this right foot, tilt the foot a little in, out, flows. We go in, down, around, out, and up. Around again. So a few free floating, loose, but thorough movements. Reverse. Around, out, and up. Other direction. And set the feet down. Foot down. Other foot. Point, flex. Point, flex. Loosening up the relationship between the foot, the ankle, the lower leg muscles. That area is very often very tight. It's where people get calf cramps and other issues, right? And then we go invert, evert, this little subtle tilt of the foot. Notice I'm not turning my leg, I'm just moving the foot. Now we circle, go in, around, out, and up. Circle. And reverse, circle. And down. Scoot all the way forward to the front edge of your chair again, so we're back to where we started. Step your feet wider apart than the distance of your hips, so you have a little extra space here. Now lift your toes up off the floor so the heels are still touching. Turn on the heels and notice the shape I'm making here. My knees are close, if not touching. The toes are turned in and the groin area is closed. It's closed off. Now lift your toes, turn on the heels. Now notice all that change. Now I've got open groin area. They call this the quad. Opening, and the toes are pointing out, and the knees are pointing out. Now let's lift the toes, close, lift the toes, open. So we're getting movement up here where the pelvis and legs meet. We're liberating. We want unhindered movement where the legs, hips meet in the external rotation direction and the internal rotation direction. So spiraling and spiraling. Now back to neutral. Bring your feet to hip distance, hands on your legs. Now that same space where the legs, hips meet, the legs don't move, but the pelvis moves. So now we're bowing all the way forward. And then we're sitting up vertical. And then leaning back. And then sitting vertical. And again, simple. Relaxed body, loose, relaxed arms. And we're just folding at the crease of the hip. So we're making a big change. Now I'm looking at the ground. My torso is almost parallel to the floor. And then I'm coming all the way back up to vertical. But it's simple because I'm moving from the correct junction, the correct pivot. Again, just fold and vertical. And fold. Unfold, sorry. Leaning back and vertical. Now, about to stand up. We're about to stand up, but before we do, let's just cultivate. Remember what I was saying about the shoulder blades and the complexity of this area. So ideally, this is now feeling looser. Take your arms forward and up, and then just drop them and swing them back and swing them back up again. We're just going to do this a few times. And the importance of this movement is to show us that, again, the junction or the moving pivot is not just this little socket here, which is what a lot of people do. They freeze up here and then they just move their arm at the socket. But when you really are loose, you realize it's the shoulder blade. It's this space in the chest-arm junction that needs to be free to move, loose. So letting the arm come behind you and then up in front and then behind. So feel that looseness, that empty quality here. Okay? And then, now we got that. Now go right arm forward, left arm back, and then swing and change. So now we've got that freedom of movement, But by doing it this way, we're also inducing this little turning. So it's very important, this turning pivot in the middle of us. And you want to be loose enough to allow that. So just loose and easy, swinging, and then just let everything come to settle. Now, keep that quality of looseness, very important. So it's empty, we're not top heavy. With your legs, let's tap the feet. So we do kind of happy feet, tap feet. Ready? Like so. So feel that stimulation to the feet, and then stop. So the other thing that is showing us is that our feet are empty. We don't have our body weight down through our feet. Our feet are empty, right? But the weight is going through the chair down to the earth. That's why you can kind of pick your feet up and still be connected and grounded. Now, as you slide your feet back a little bit, loose and relaxed arms. We fold at the hips. Now just watch me get up one time. Notice that I don't push myself up like that. That's not what you do. Fold. Let your body weight pour out of the chair down to the earth. So now you are connected to the ground through your legs and feet. And then standing up is no problem at all. You come all the way up to vertical. So let's do this together. And also notice when I sit down, same thing. I don't just fall into my chair. I fold, loose arms, sink, find the chair with my butt, and then now my weight's going through here and my feet are free again. So let's all do that together a few times. Arms are loose. First thing, when people say stand up, it gets us confused because what's important is down. Fold, pour the weight out of the chair, let it go down. And then the coming up is, no problem. No problem. And then we fold, keep the weight down. Remember Bobo the Clown, that thing I was saying about the sediment, the sand at the bottom. Keep it at the bottom. Sink, folding the body up, sit the butt on the chair, and then just lean back. And the weight stays at the bottom. It's just going through the chair now. And again, we fold, let the weight go down to the earth, push through the earth, and we're up and we're still loose, right? Just because you're standing up doesn't mean you need to add holding on, right? Relax. And then we fold and sit. Once more, fold and stand. You're just loose and light and easy. Now, squats with that same feeling, don't put your butt on the chair. So we fold, it's as if you're going to sit in your chair, but you don't. You sink down, you maybe even touch the toes or touch the floor, and then you just push through the earth and rise back to vertical. So don't sit in the chair. Don't sit in the chair, just squat. So we're folding, sinking, and then unfolding and standing. So now we're compressing and lengthening. So remember what I was saying about a healthy body is unhindered movement, right? Just like a healthy arm can go all the way here and all the way back. This whole body, a healthy body, has got to be able to fold all the way into this shape and then unfold all the way into this straightened shape with zero hindrance. And what this does is it polishes out our tension-based clumsy strength. This is what they call it in the Taoist terminology, Li. It's where we are tightening up and then trying to really force it to happen, versus Sung, soft, supple, live, fluid, round, right? So the Tai Chi practice that we do on Friday has more of this upper body work. Today, we're just focusing on the foundational leg movements and whatnot, okay? So, now you've got your chair on your right. This is my left hand, but I'll call it right because that's like a mirror for you. So you're standing up, you've got this chair on your right side. Now, get close enough to it so that you could touch it if you need it, but have no hands on the chair. Now change your weight more to your right leg, more to your right leg. Some of you have been practicing a while, you know you can really just go 100% to that right leg, to the point where you possibly even can do this little movement here. You see I'm swiveling the left because this is empty. Now switch. So we change, put the weight down through the left leg, possibly to this point where you feel that right leg empties, so that it's liquid fluid. It can just swivel, swivel, swivel. And then we change back to the right. And then we change back to the left. And just do this a few times. Again, you can notice in my body, my central pillar, my zhongjung, that we talked about in the sitting practice, is able to stay intact, not because I'm holding on to it, because if I hold on to it, then I'm starting to do this leaning Tower of Pisa thing. But if I'm relaxed and I just let the weight go down through one leg and this leg is empty, the central upright stays perfect. Even if it tilts a little naturally, right? It keeps its function. Okay, now stay in your left leg, and with your right leg, go up to the tippy toe. So this right away may make you want to touch the chair to start to feel safer. Fine. Put that foot down, right? And then we change the weight to the right leg until the left leg is empty. When it's empty, you can lift the heel and get up to the tippy toe. Keep it empty as you put the heel down, and then we change. Weight goes down through the left, the right foot is empty. You can get to the tippy toe. Foot to the floor, change. Empty foot is free to both lift and lower, and then we change. So it's this change that people have overlooked over the course of their life, and then it's that change that really becomes a problem when old age, Parkinson's, MS, whatever it is, a stroke, these things happen. And if we haven't cultivated this awareness of changing weight, and then the foot is free to move, then people get themselves in trouble because they're walking around and forcing, and then they're lifting, and everything's unsafe. And so we're this foundational awareness of change, full, empty, then the empty foot is free to move. Now let's take this up a level. Put the weight through your left leg, get to the tippy toe of your right foot, hand on chair probably, because we're now gonna lift the foot up. And then put this whole right foot on the floor with zero body weight. Then change so that your right leg is that full leg. Get to the tippy toe of your left foot, hand on chair for safety as you disconnect the left foot from the floor. Reconnect the whole foot to the floor, but still with no body weight, and then change. Go to the tippy toe, hand on chair as needed as you disconnect. Reconnect the foot to the floor, then change the weight. Establish your weight on the right, the left foot is now free. And then change your weight to the left, right foot becomes free. Premature stepping is what gets you in trouble. The weight's on its way over here, but then we pick up the foot because we're sort of impatient, we're rushing, instead of take your time. Eventually, when you get really good at letting the weight go through, it can be simultaneous, like I'm going to do right now. As my weight's going down, I'm lifting this foot, so it's quick again, it's fast. But if I try to do that and I'm actually stiff, then I'm going to get in trouble and fall over. But if I'm good at letting the weight go through, I can bring this all the way up, and then I can switch again to this side, right? I can do things swiftly, but first we have to slow it down and cultivate this skill. Weight goes down through your right leg, hand on chair for sure here as you try to go knee all the way up, as high as it could possibly go. And then leg all the way down, long but empty. Change your weight, and then again, hand on chair so that you really get this whole range of lift. and then leg goes down, but the body's staying upright. Change, lift, lower, change. Don't prematurely move the leg. So go half as fast as I'm going, or even half that fast, so that you wait long enough to find the stability, then the lift, then the lower, change. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Get to where you feel this discerning between full empty, then you can lift. Then you can lower. Okay, next exercise. Put your weight in your left leg. Empty your right foot and put your right heel in front of you like this. So notice I didn't take some massive step, just right in front, comfortable distance. Okay? So we've got 100% in the back leg, 0 in the front. Now shift into your front leg. As your weight goes down, your back leg becomes empty, so you can lift up to the tippy toe of your back foot. And then change the weight back through your left leg, and now you should be empty in your front foot. Shift. So this is a really important exercise because we are now moving backwards in space and forwards in space. So many times we get ourselves in trouble because we think backwards and we go too much backwards with the rest of our body, or forwards and we go too far forward, we get over our skis. Whereas the Taoist understanding is that it's down and down. So it's always down. That's the primary direction. Down through the leg, down through the leg. And it just so happens that I move forward, or it just so happens that I move backwards, but I don't have to worry about it. I just focus on down and down. Level 2, hand on chair. Now we lift the front leg from this hip, place the heel back to the floor, shift into that leg. Back foot is empty on the tippy toe. Now like a little flamingo, just bend that knee. So it should be your left knee, you bend, pull the heel up, place the toe back on the floor, shift. So it's a little test. How full empty are you to be able to lift from the hip, lower, shift. And then the back leg, how empty is it? Can you just bend that knee, touch the toe back to the floor, shift. From the hip, down, shift. Remember, primary direction is not up, down. The down creates the ability for the up. The down creates the ability for the up. That's this yin and yang of gravity and levity. So if we're holding all the gravity in our body, we're holding the weight, then we're not able to discern between that which goes down and that which can go up. So it's kind of magical, but it's also just math. It's just kind of an equation that we have to get right, or else. Now, hand on chair. That front leg, bring the knee all the way up, all the way down, heel touches. Shift, the weight goes down through that right leg. Now your back leg, bring the knee forward and up, like you're trying to step up on a big old curve or a big stair, right? So this big lift, and then reach this toe back behind you, still no weight. And then shift, primary direction down, creates the up. So if you get the down right, the up becomes easy. We forget about the down because we're concerned about the moving part. But down then allows you this up. Reach it back. Down. Creates the up. Down. Freeze the up. Feet together. We're going to switch sides. So put the weight through your right leg, side step. Safely get over to your other chair. Put the weight now through your right leg. Put your left foot in front. So we're going to do that same thing, just in the reverse of the feet arrangement. Shift the weight. So level 1. Level 1 is the best time to practice no hand on anything. No hand on the chair. We're just shifting. The heel stays touching the floor. Shifting. The toe stays touching the floor of the empty foot. Shift. And we get to really get out of our mind this idea of I'm moving forward, so I have to do something forwards or I have to do something backwards. Not at all. We relax and we just go down to the earth. Down to the earth. Down to the earth. The body stays upright. It moves forwards. It moves backwards, but we don't have to do it. Got to get out of the way. Level 2, hand on chair for balance. As your left leg, you lift, lower. Weight goes down through that left leg. So now your right foot should be empty. So like a little flamingo. We just hinge at the knee joint and then set the toe back down and then shift. Once your front foot is empty, it's just a simple command from the mind to lift that leg. And then once your weight is down through, it's just a simple command. Lift. Everything we're practicing is the best news you could ever receive. It's easier than whatever you're doing. Whatever you're using, whatever you're trying to do to move around your space, if you figure out these techniques, it's vastly simpler, vastly easier, it takes less energy, it's more effective, but it has to be precise. So you have to harness your attention, pay attention, work on these techniques. Let's go level 3. Knee up, heel softly down, change the weight. Let the weight go down to the earth. Now this back leg is free to lift, like you're going to step up over some big stair, and then reach the toe back empty, and then change the weight down through. Lift, lower heel, change. Then knee up like you're going to step up over. Toe reaches back, change. The down creates the freedom for the up. One more. Loose, relax, easy. And switch sides again. So we put the weight through the left leg. That's the first thing that needs to happen in order for us to step over there. A lot of times we're double weighted and then we see it, and so we just jump, and it's this clumsiness that comes with that versus the understanding of, I'm going to take a side step over there. So I put my weight through this leg so that foot's free to step. Then I shift over there, and therefore I'm safe the whole time rather than jumping over and hoping it works out. Instead, we're saying, oh yeah, I'm grounded and I'm free to move these body parts. So this is Tai Chi. This is what the practice of Tai Chi unlocks for us. Now the next exercise, put the weight in your left leg. Your right foot is in front, heel touching softly. Shift. And once this back foot is empty, step. And then shift again. And then we go backwards, but remember backwards really is down, step back, down. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see the full range of it, the shift. Notice how I didn't prematurely step. I waited until it was empty, then I stepped it and kept it empty as I stepped it. Then shift. And the same thing on the way back. Shift into that leg. Wait a second until it's empty. Step it while it's still empty. Shift. Shift. Step while it's empty. Shift. Shift. Step. Shift. So we just moved 1.5 feet, 2 feet forward, 1.5 feet, 2 feet back. And if you're doing it right, you didn't have to think forward or back at all. You just thought down. Just make sure you get your down relationship to the earth correct. Everything else takes care of itself. One more. This is level 1. This is just casual sauntering. forwards and backwards. Now, next one, we lift and lower just like we did before, and we shift, and now as if there's an obstacle on the floor here that you need to step over, you pick up that foot, bring it over the obstacle, and then set it down softly, heel touching the ground. Then you shift, and then this leg, you do that little flamingo, lift and lower, and then we shift back, and now this can be a little tricky. You go up in front, then reach the toe back, and then shift. So again, I'll do sideways sometimes, not because you should do sideways, but more so you can see the angles and the relationships to the body parts. So there's lift, lower, shift. Now your back foot, once it's truly empty, it's just a matter of floating it over and stepping, and then shift. Flamingo, down. Get the weight to go down, up, tuck, reach, down, lift, lower. We're just connected underneath the ground. Like that Bobo the Clown doll that I'm talking about. When we're soft, what you start to feel is like you're plugged into the ground, like your stability is down there, and we no longer fear the ground. We actually are connected to it. We're plugged into it, and it's supporting us through this relaxed body. And this is our level 2, and then we'll just go level 3. This one you'll need the chair for probably. You go knee up, heel down, shift. And then we're going heel to butt, knee up, foot out, down. And then shift, knee up. So it's just exaggerated motions to really challenge our ability to feel connected to the ground. Reversing that, shift, knee up, foot down, shift. Then go heel, knee, foot, down, shift, knee, toe, shift. One more time, level 3, knee, heel, shift. 1, 2, 3, down, up, back, shift, up, tuck, reach, back. Now we're going to switch sides. So again, you're going to have to do your side step. So put the weight in your right leg, side step left. You got your chair. Level 1 is just that casual sauntering. Put your weight through your right leg, left foot in front, and you shift. Wait for it to be empty. Step, shift. Remember that the primary direction is down to the earth. That allows you this easy step. And then down to the earth allows you the freedom of this foot. Again, shift, step, shift. So when you slow it down enough to reclaim this mastery of the techniques that we're looking for of down, then speed comes back, efficient movement comes back, because it's just so easy. It's just, but you're not rushing, just being easy. It's like a river flowing. Looks easy, right? But it's powerful. Level 2, lift, lower, shift, small obstacle on the floor, we flamingo, pick the foot up and over, place the heel down in front, shift, and then this back foot, flamingo, and then down, shift. Now again, the obstacle's behind your heel, so you got to go up, tuck, reach, shift back from the hip, lift, lower, shift, step over, shift, flamingo, shift, up, tuck, reach, shift, lift, lower, step over, Level 3, probably need your chair. Knee up, down, shift. Then go heel to butt, knee up, foot out, lower the heel softly down, and then shift. And then go knee up, we reverse. Toe touch, shift. Knee, heel, toe, shift. The weight going down allows for that up, heel down, shift. Then go heel, knee, foot, down, shift. One more. And now, you guys just stay put. Now I'm facing the same direction as you. Move to the left side of your space. Turn and look across the room. So now you've got a runway. And we're just going to practice the skills we just cultivated in the service of walking, just walking. So now put your weight in your right leg, put the left foot out in front, heel touching, super light and empty, and then just shift. Don't prematurely step, wait for it to be empty, then step. The foot should be empty. Shift, step, shift. The chairs, if you set yourself up like I have requested that you do, the chairs should be on your left here so you have something to give you safety if you need it. So we walk forward down the runway as far as your space allows, and then reverse. Be very careful going backwards, but remember, backwards is still just down. Step back, empty, down. If you get the down correct, then the foot is free enough, the other foot, to step back without lurching your body weight back. Down, step, down, step. So do that again. Level 1 is just shift, step, shift, shift. Right? Just casual sauntering across the room. Right? And ideally, this is a good one where you're not grabbing onto the chair over time because, again, it's just, we're not taking big round movement of the legs. We're just simply walking. Just very simple. Now, level 2. So each step you take should be as if you're stepping over something. And then you shift. And you wait for it to be empty and you step up and over something. So it really challenges your sturdy leg. It really lets you know how well you're doing or not well you're doing in terms of connecting to the ground. As I connect to the ground, then I should be able to float this empty foot without losing my equilibrium. And be very careful on the way backwards, of course. In chairs, you know where they are, so you can grab them if you need. All right, so this backwards walk, it's all about connecting down through the sturdy leg, takes care of everything else. Now, it almost sounds too good to be true. That's why we keep doing sort of our bad habits of walking. But you got to try to get your mind to just focus on how well am I connected to the ground, and then see how that liberates you to move them. Now, turn, face forward. You should be at the left side of your space. And now we go weight down through the left leg, right foot steps out, right foot steps in. You're going to do this a few times. And the key to this exercise is, watch me please, watch the difference between this, which is the correct thing to do, and this. This is me using clumsy strength, and I'm just falling into this leg with 100% versus this is 100% full. So I'm stepping this leg out and in, but there's no weight in it. It's free because this is correct. So out and in. Let's do that together. You got your upright. You're going down through the left leg, so the right foot is free. Remember the quad, the groin area. Opening, closing. Opening, closing. Now, step it out and leave it there. Now we close the right quad, open the left. Keep your left foot anchored to the ground. So now the weight is in this leg. It's no longer in this leg, and this is open. And then we switch back. Now we close this quad, open this quad or groin area. And then close, open. Close, open. So I'm moving my central pillar in space laterally, sideways. I'm cultivating space inside the body, which is the real estate that is most valuable, right? To us as we're aging. If we lose our interior space, then the body becomes this big, stiff, rigid, unmoving vehicle versus we cultivate openings and closings and space. And now we can move, now we can shift, and that is healthy for the body at so many levels. Now, change your weight to your right leg, left leg empty. Now step left foot in, out, in, closing this quad, step out, opening this quad, in, out. Bring that foot in, keep it in, feet touching if you can, which is a less than comfortable stance for most people. So now in this very close stance, let's change the weight to your left leg. So you notice my right foot is empty, but my feet are together. And now I'm changing, so my weight is down through this leg and this foot is empty. So now we're finding this down to the earth, empty, down to the earth, empty. That cultivates the lumbar section of the mechanism, the lower back and this groin area, the freedom of this movement, the real estate here is what we're cultivating on the interior. Now the weight goes through your left leg, right foot steps out. Change the weight. This is now everything we just practiced put together. Bring the left foot in. Change the weight to the left leg, right foot should be empty, step it out. Change the weight to the right leg. Now that the left foot is empty, it's free to step in. Change the weight, step out. Change the weight, step in. Change, step out. No premature stepping. Change. Step in and step back out. Let's go the other way. Change the weight. Step in. Change the weight. Step out. Change. Step in. Change. Step out. Notice my zhong, my central pillar. I'm not doing this and then this to move. That central line is intact. Body is loose and relaxed. And then those of you that have been coming to the Friday class, you'll recognize this movement. Shift and turn, the bear wash, pause. Shift and turn, the bear wash, pause. So right now I'm not stepping, but I am changing weight to this leg, changing weight to this leg, and then I'm adding this turn from this middle pivot, and I'm loose and alive all the way to the fingertips. So this is your most basic Tai Chi sort of complicated movement. Shift, turn, brush, knee, and sweep. Shift, turn, brush, knee, and sweep. And now we take that into our walk. So now shift, turn, brush, knee, sweep. Left foot should be empty, step it in. Change your weight to your left leg, turn, brush, and sweep. And now your right foot should be empty, step it out. Shift into the right leg, turn, brush, and sweep. The hands all the way across. there's this kind of dynamic tension or elasticity in this leg, and you just let that come in. Then change the weight to the left leg, brush and sweep, and step right foot out. Hands staying on this side. So now there's this dynamic tension that we allow to sort of resolve itself and pull us across. Now there's this dynamic tension that we allow to resolve. We bring that leg in. And then shift, turn, brush, sweep, step out. Change leg, turn from your middle pivot, brush and sweep, then step in. Go the other way, step out. We shift, turn, brush, sweep, right foot steps in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep, step out. So this is advanced Tai Chi. It's the simplest possible advanced Tai Chi. So this is your first step into a larger world. Can you coordinate all these parts? And again, the answer is probably no. The answer is probably no, you cannot right now, right? But over time, you start to find your middle. You start to loosen up these places where you're in your own way. And then this movement becomes easy. Now, hands together, rub palms. So this is how we close our practice. Rub the back of one hand. Rub your palms. Rub the back of the other hand. Rub your palms. Then we have those two groin creases, genital area in the middle, groin crease on either side. Place your open palms on those creases and rub up and down. That's clearing out that area. Now your hip flexors, the top of your thigh where it bundles up, that's your hip flexors. We go out and in with our open palms. Then we travel around the back to the tailbone area, the lowest portion of the spine. Then we come up onto the lumbar area and the side of the back muscles. And then remember your Tai Chi squat. You stick your butt back a little, sit the buttocks, hands sweep down the side of the legs. They come around to the inside of the legs, come up as you're standing up. They come up the inside to the belly button. We do that again. So quad or groin area, few strokes. Then the hip flexors, a few strokes. Around to the tailbone, few strokes. Up onto the lumbar and the side of the lumbar. And then we sweep down the outer portion, sitting the buttocks. Come around to the inner. Come up the inner to the belly button. One more time. Quad. Hip flexors. Tailbone. Lumbar. And yang channels. Yin channels. And finally, up the outer portion onto the shoulder. Turn. Down the inner portion and off. And we repeat on the same arm. Up the outer, turn, down the inner, and off. You try to get that to eventually just be a easy flow. Up and up and one more. Up and switch. Up, turn, off, turn. Up, over the shoulder, turn, sweep, and off. So this just is like pressing the reset button on all of our chi flow. And then to finish the practice, we do what's called shogun or closing gesture. Wings. Roll your arms so your palms face up. Bend at the elbows. The hands do a little folding over top. And then this is a settling consolidation gesture. Again, here's the belly button. So the hands get right at that level and then they turn
and the center of the palm faces in a sort of containing shape, right? So this is a settling down shape, and then as you roll over and create sort of a basket, a sort of holding. And notice I'm not fully like this, but I'm also not flat like this. It's kind of this round shape of just holding. This is called middle embrace. So it helps all the life force that we just stimulated and circulated and agitated and moved and manifested. We remind it what it's like to, oh yeah, go back to resting, go back to being still. So let's take 5 breaths here. Think of this like a nap, a conscious nap. We just pause, go to a 0. Very easy, very relaxed. Then we seal the practice. Once again, belly button, center of palm, we go seal over the top, other hand, seal. And then we finish with this Taoist hand mudra. Grab one thumb, hand folds over, not over the back of the hand, but over the fingers, creates this little yin-yang looking shape. So this gesture reminds us of the harmonizing our polar opposites of yin and yang, up and down, forwards, backwards, inside, outside. So this gesture is a reminder of that. And then you bow. So thank you so much, everybody. Find your comfortable chair. And if there are any final questions, comments, insights, feel free to share them, please.